Hey, Miss Mokaki,
Yes, sir.
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Did you receive a calendar yet?
I did receive a calendar.
Can you send it to me? Because I didn't receive any. Of
Absolutely. Who am I sending it to? Like what
course,
email?
of course. A Norris.
A Norris. Okay, gotcha. Sending it right now.
Thank you.
No problem.
Norris, you're gonna have to leave all your contacts.
Good afternoon, Miss Bridgewater.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm trying to stay warm. How about you?
I am as well. Turn up the heat a little bit, maybe.
I got it blasting. Our reset date is February the 4th.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yes, right at 2 o'clock. We'll get started as soon as courtroom 2 comes on with us.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Afternoon, Mr. Rhodes. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you.
All right, same to you, sir. Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon, Judge Morrow. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Norris. Hope you are as well. Let's
Yes,
see,
sir.
who do we have?
This is going to be position number 9 on my calendar. Oh, wait a minute. See, it's kind of mixed up here.
It
Yeah,
is.
it is, right?
Yes, it is.
I thought I was going crazy for a
No,
second.
not today.
Okay, good. So this is going to be position number 9, Mr. Odesanya.
Hey, what's going on, Your Honor? Are you special?
Hi, yes, good afternoon, sir. Okay,
Thank you.
let's see.
Mr. Malone, Eric.
What's
Hold on, Odesanya. Hold on. Let the judge talk.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Odesanya. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Mr. Odesanya, you've been charged in case 25 CR 0000329F with criminal trespass. Good afternoon, Ms. Hardy. Is there a history?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Their first arrest was December the 18th, 2024, out of Marietta for an FTA. They have a total of 15 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia, California, and Texas. Misdemeanor conviction in 2024 out of California for criminal trespass. 2022 theft by shoplifting. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, Your Honor, very briefly, as already indicated, there's a total of 15 cycles. 7 of those cycles are out of Georgia. Multi-state offender from California and Texas. On this particular incident, January 18, 2025, Officer Simeon was dispatched to a criminal trespass panhandling situation at 3285 Peachtree Road, the Embassy Suites Hotel. Upon arrival, they spoke with a security officer, Mr. Eric Spencer, who advised that the male who had been given a criminal trespass warning earlier that morning had returned and refused to leave after being asked multiple times. Mr. Spencer also stated that the male was not a resident guest and never had a room at the establishment. Your Honor, this is a criminal trespass. The defendant is a multi-state offender, 7 cycles in the state of Georgia. We are asking because of the fact that he is a repeat offender for a $3,000 good bond and that he stay away from Embassy Suites at 3285 Peachtree Road, Northeast. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Rhodes, does he have any other criminal trespass charges?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe one of them was a criminal trespass conviction, Your Honor.
Okay, I just
Oh,
wanted to make sure.
wow. Oh my
Thank-
God.
Hold on, Mr.
Addiction.
Odesanya. Hold on for me,
A lot.
okay?
Vast majority of theft by shoplifting, Your Honor.
Say it again, Mr. Rhodes?
I believe the vast majority were theft by shoplifting, though.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rogalski, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you. I take it that this is your client?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, yes, you can proceed.
Excellent. Well, come before you, Your Honor, is Mr. Odesanya. He is 33 years of age. The address that he had provided us with is 420 Cortlandt Street, which, Your Honor, I do believe is a shelter. So I do believe he is residentially challenged at this moment. He has been an Atlanta resident for his entire life. He has stated to me that he has spent his entire life here. He does have some NH concerns, and I have already reached out to some staff at my office to address those MH concerns, see if we can potentially get him some help. He is an actor, writer, and director. He did graduate college from Purdue State University, and he said he has a degree in film, which is excellent. Your Honor, given Mr. Odesanya's indigent status, we are asking today that he do receive a UJR. There really is no amount of monetary bond that he is able to pay. This is not a violent allegation, and so for those reasons, we do understand the previous history, but again, he is not a violent offender. We would be asking today for a UJR to be granted, so that way he does have the ability to go and hopefully seek some help, but also hopefully be able to get out of this jail because he would otherwise not be able to pay any monetary bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Because he has a criminal trespass, a prior one, I'm gonna have to send him through pretrial, so it's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. I want him to have a social worker visit to assist with any types of housing or mental health issues that he might have. Stay away from that 3285 Peachtree Road address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. All right. Good luck to you, sir. Hi, Ms. Rosenhuber. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. I just wanted to interrupt really quickly to let the court know that position number 3 does need a Spanish interpreter. I believe Miss Chansey is here. If I could have a moment to be put in a breakout room or whenever works for the court for me to interview.
Very good. Norris, you heard that?
Yeah, I did, Ms. Rosenhuber, but you just put me on the spot right now.
Sorry.
I'm trying to wing this right now because I'm kind of like by myself.
Okay, so you just do what you let me know what you need to do, Norris. So we'll do whatever it is that you want us
I
to
know,
do.
Judge,
Okay?
you're pretty fast, so I'm pretty sure we could probably do this towards the end. If Ms.
Okay.
Chansey is fine.
No
All
problem.
right. So however you want to do it, Norris.
Okay. Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 2, Mrs. Chavez, Angel Chavez.
Hello, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Chavez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Ms. Chavez, you've been charged in case 25 CR 0003188A with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was November the 9th, 2024, out of Dunwoody for theft by shoplifting. That was their only arrest cycle. Nothing further to report.
Afternoon, Ms. McCockey.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident happened at the Hammond Apartments located at 1160 Hammond Drive in Sandy Springs. The defendant was trespassing at the location after previously receiving a criminal trespass warning. She was seen on the property by employees who also took pictures of her while she was trespassing on the property. Given her limited arrest history, the state's recommendation for Ms. Chavez is a signature bond. Just stay away from that incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Any objection to any of that, Ms. Rosenhuber?
No objection, Judge.
Okay, as such, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from that Hammond Springs address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Ms. Chavez, I'm gonna let you out, but you can't go back to that Hammond Springs address,
Yes,
okay? All right. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, you too. Have a great day.
You too.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 4, Mr. Ronald Cuffey. I'm going to take that hat off your head. Come on, Judge. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cuffey. Let's see, you have been charged in case 25 CR 0000320E with simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older or who was pregnant at the time of the offense. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
No, Your Honor, no history to report at this time.
Ms. McCockey?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened at 1883 Shepherd Circle Southwest in Atlanta. The victim in this case is Bessie Statham, who is the defendant's grandmother. The defendant is accused of forcefully grabbing the victim by her shoulders as she was walking out of her garage door. The victim did complain of minor shoulder pain. She is currently 78 years old. Our office has talked to Ms. Statham, who stated that she has been better since the defendant has been gone from her home. She confirmed the events in the warrant, explained that things had just been getting out of hand and he'd been talking back and cursing at her, but this is the first time that it's escalated to violence. She does believe the defendant has some MH issues because he was not always acting like this before. She also thinks he might have some issues with alcohol and marijuana. She does say that the defendant sleeps in her garage as she will not allow him into her home, and he seems to be getting worse and she just wants him to get some help. The state's recommendation, given that this is his first arrest, is a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with the victim, however. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. A social worker visit might be appropriate for Mr. Cuffey, and I would just ask the court to sound for the victim in this case, Miss Bessie Statham.
If Ms. Stackham is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Ms. Rosenhover?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Cuffey is 33 years old, and as the state indicated, he had been temporarily living at his grandmother's house. He did lose his job a few months ago, but is actively seeking employment. He did earn his bachelor's degree in 2013 and is certified in radiology. He's also a dental assistant. He did indicate to me that he has other family members in the Georgia area that he could stay with if the court does issue that stay away. Given that it's his first arrest, we would ask for a pretrial services level 1 bond, please.
Does he need a one-time escort, Ms. Rosenhover?
I'm sorry, Judge. I didn't catch that.
Does he need a one-time police escort to retrieve any belongings?
That would be great, Judge, please.
Okay. It'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Stackham. Stay away from the Shepherd Circle address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Cuffey. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Good
Good afternoon, Officer Milton. How are you today?
I am well. Before you is position number 5, Ms. Goliath.
Okay, let me address all the ladies that are here.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. When this I just came out of felony court, so Ms. Goliath was on the felony calendar, and when we do her, I was going to go get the other ladies for misdemeanor.
Okay, the ladies behind you, they're here for misdemeanor also?
No, Your Honor. This is
Oh.
felony.
Oh, okay, so this is okay, so she's the only one that's in that group that I have to address. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Goliath. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Ms. Goliath, you've been charged in case 25 CR 000324G with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Their last arrest was April 28th, 2015, out of Douglas County for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. That's their only arrest cycle. Nothing further to report.
Ms. McConkey?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened at 1473 Raintree Drive in Roswell. The victim in this case is Ivis Ramirez. The defendant is accused of pushing the victim in the face with an open palm during an argument. The defendant did admit to making physical contact with the victim first. The defendant had been living with the victim for about 3 weeks, and officers did determine that she was the primary aggressor. Given that she has an open felony case 25 PI 000487, the state's recommendation is going to be for a $1,000 surety bond. No further contact with the victim. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
What is the nature of the felony charge?
I think that's what she was in felony court for today for: purchase, possession, or have control of a controlled substance in Schedule 1 or narcotic in Schedule 2, and then an affixing materials charge.
All right. Yes, Ms. Rosenhover.
Thank you, Judge. Miss Goliath is 27 years old, and just looking at the warrant, Judge, it also looks like Miss Goliath reported to law enforcement that after she did push the victim in the face, he punched her in return. And when they spoke with the victim, and this is just based on the warrant, it looks like he said that nothing was physical at all between them. So there are some discrepancies with respect to her culpability in this case, Judge. She has resided in Georgia since she was 3 years old. She has a 6-year-old son who's currently living with or residing with her family while she's in custody. She's a high school graduate, actively seeking employment. And while she was previously living at the incident location with her boyfriend and his family, she does have somewhere else she can stay. Her parents live in Marietta, and she understands that it's her responsibility to update her address with the clerk's office. Judge, given her limited criminal history and the lack of violent criminal history in her past, we would ask for a pretrial bond. Thank you.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Mr. Ramirez. Stay away from the Raintree Drive address. She can go back to that address if necessary on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Goliath.
Thank you. I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 6, Mr. Moriano Grant.
Good afternoon, Mr. Grant. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000321D with battery family violence and simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was January 20th, 2015, out of North Charleston, South Carolina, for driving without a license. They have a total of 20 arrest cycles out of South Carolina. Felony conviction in 2010 for malicious injury to property greater than $1,000. Nothing further to report.
Ms. McConkey?
Yes, Your Honor. And I just want to point out that the defendant does have some older violent arrests. He has some criminal domestic violence arrests from 1997, 2000, and 2002, as well as criminal domestic violence convictions from 2004 and 1988. This incident happened at 4104 Lexington Farms Drive in Alpharetta. The victim in this case is Renisha Grant, who is the defendant's wife. The defendant is accused of coming home intoxicated and banging loudly on the doors of the home. When the victim's son told him to stop being so loud, he became angry and began yelling at the victim's son. The victim then intervened and the defendant got progressively more upset. The argument moved into the room and the defendant grabbed the victim by her neck and shoved her into a wall, then proceeded to punch her in the face, causing a laceration to her lip. Our office has had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Grant, who states that she has no desire for the defendant to come back and wants no further contact and a stay away. She says they've been married for about 3 years and this has never happened before. But during this particular incident, the defendant scared her. There have been lots of arguments in the past that led up to this, and she also believes the defendant needs some help with drinking. They share no children. And she also states that the defendant has called her from jail, telling her that she shouldn't say anything. He will need a one-time police escort to retrieve his belongings. The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, particularly if he's calling the victim from the jail, intimidating her, and trying to coerce her testimony. No further contact with this victim. Stay away from the incident location, that he undergo some anger awareness or an FBIP, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I would just ask the court to sound for the victim, Miss Renisha Grant.
Ms. Grant, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, you certainly do not have to, but if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you would, I will need you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Does not appear that Ms. Grant wishes to address the court this afternoon. Ms. Rosenhuber?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Grant is 45 years old. He has been a plumber now for about 27 years. He made it to the 11th grade, and he has 2 children who are 27 and 28 years old. He advised me that he's not able to make a very high bond, Judge, and given the remote nature of his previous convictions and other domestic history, we would ask for a bond not to exceed $2,500. He does have other family members in the area that he can reside with if necessary, and he knows that it's his responsibility to update the address with the clerk's office.
Okay, for the battery, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For the simple battery, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1-day anger awareness. No further contact with Ms. Grant. Stay away from the Lexington Farms address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Mr. Grant, and if Ms. Grant is listening, let me make it clear what no contact means. No contact means absolutely no contact. Of course, no personal contact, no telephone contact, no internet contact, no social media contact, no email contact, no contact whatsoever. If I find out, Mr. Grant, that you've been trying to contact Ms. Grant you or yourself or through someone, I will revoke this bond, okay? So good luck to you, sir.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 10, Mr. Cornell Pierce.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierce. You have
How you
been
doing,
charged.
sir?
I'm doing well. I hope you as well, Mr. Pierce. You have been charged in case 25 CR 000-325A with loitering and prowling. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was July 6, 2024, out of East Point for criminal trespass. They have a total of 12 arrest cycles in Georgia, a felony conviction in 2003 for robbery and a CWAC charge, a 2024 misdemeanor conviction for criminal trespass. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Rhodes? You're on mute, Mr. Rhodes.
Thank you, Your Honor. As it relates to Mr. Pierce, on January 17, 2024, Officer Messina was dispatched to 1347 Pine Avenue in East Point, Georgia, 30344 regarding a suspicious persons call around 3:47 a.m. in the morning. Officer Messina met with the victim in this case, Ms. Charlotte Battle, who stated that her Ring camera picked up motion headed toward her backyard. She stated that essentially she saw the subject on her Ring camera and alerted the alarm, and he walked up to the Ring camera and said, "Hey, how are you doing?" and walked away. Battle stated that the subject then walked down Pine Avenue looking into other residents' vehicles and even went to her next door neighbor's door. Battle allowed officers to look at the camera to get a description of the subject, and then 25 minutes later, officers were called back because the defendant was back in the Pine Street area. They were able to detain him at that particular time. As it relates to the state's recommendation, Your Honor, is we are asking for a $5,000, a $3,000 good bond, given his history, and that he stay away from Charlotte Brown, the victim, and that he stay away from 1347 Pine Avenue in East Point, Georgia, 30344, and really that he stay away from all of Pine Avenue as he was looking into vehicles and actually went to the next door neighbor's residence as well. Your Honor, I would ask that you sound for the victim, but I do know my victim advocate was in contact with her, and these are also her wishes.
Thank you. Ms. Battle's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Mr. Rogalski?
Yes, Your Honor. Come before you is Mr. Pierce. He is 49 years of age. His address is 1207 Bell Avenue, and that is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. He has lived here for his entire life. His entire family is also here. He has a child of 29 years of age, Your Honor, and he does have good employment. He details cars for work, has been doing that for the past 5 years. Your Honor, he has GED from Tri-Cities High School. And what we would also state is even by the allegation here, he did go up to that Ring camera and even identified himself when he had heard the alarm, showing that there may not have been as nefarious of a purpose of him in that situation as possibly the allegation describes. He did say, "How you doing?" Greeted the alarm. And so we would be asking at this time, Your Honor, this is not a violent allegation. He was not, in fact, breaking into those vehicles either, was looking inside of them, not actually taking action and doing anything about that. We would be asking at this time for Mr. Pierce to receive a UJR. Thank you.
All right. It will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. No further contact with Ms. Battle. Stay away from all of Pine Avenue and East Point. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Pierce.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 8, Mr. O'Quinn. Come here, Pierce.
Good afternoon, Mr. O'Quinn. You have been charged in case 25 CR 000-323E with simple assault. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was October 16th, 2024, out of DeKalb County for criminal trespass. There's a total of 15 arrest cycles with arrests out of Mississippi, Illinois, and Georgia. There appears to be a holdout of Des Plaines, Illinois for assault. The date of that warrant is March the 19th, 2024. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, Your Honor. On December 19th, 24, police were dispatched to 713 Peachtree Street on a disturbance call. When the police arrived, they spoke with Miss Leslie Daniels. Miss Daniels advised that she was walking on the sidewalk near North Avenue MARTA station when she was approached by an unknown male. The unknown male did extend his right hand in an attempt to touch Miss Daniels' face, but she quickly stepped away. The unknown male, in addition, attempted to take her phone, but she was able to hold secure her phone and walk away. As she was walking away, she was able to snap a photo of the unknown male and waited for police to arrive. There were no injuries to report based on the photo that she was able to take with her cell phone. An investigation ensued, and they were able to identify Mr. Keyshawn O'Quinn as the perpetrator in this incident, and they did a photo lineup, and the victim in this case, Miss Daniels, was able to identify him in a photo lineup in an array. You've heard the defendant's history, Your Honor. So as such, we are asking for a $3,000 good bond, given the violent history, violent nature of the defendant, and the fact that he is flagged in our system as a repeat offender, and to stay away, no further contact with Leslie Daniels. Thank you.
Ms. Daniels is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Rogowski?
Yes, Your Honor. Come before you is Mr. O'Quinn. He is 29 years of age. He is currently residentially challenged at the moment, has been residing in the Atlanta area for the past 4.5 months, however. Your Honor, he has 2 children, 12 years of age and 9 years of age. He also does have good employment. He is a forklift operator at Sweetwater Brewery and has been doing that for the past months. He has his GED as well. Your Honor, I do want to point out, if correct, Mr. O'Quinn, I can see here from his booking sheet, has been in the Fulton County Jail since December 20th for the past 32 days. And he does, I will say, as pretrial had mentioned, he does have an open PI case in Superior. We would be asking in this case here for you to grant a signature bond, so that way he at the very least is not being held up by this case. Again, I have emailed my supervisor because it was relayed to me by Mr. O'Quinn that he has yet to be seen for that PI case. So I wanted to bring that to the attention of my supervisor to see what needs to be done for him to get his first appearance over there. But with that said, we do just want to make sure that we can get this, handled here today and allow him the opportunity for release.
What is the underlying charge?
For today? I believe
Your Honor, it's simple assault, and we'll be willing to plead to a time served if Your Honor would entertain a plea this morning or this afternoon. It's not morning.
Well, that's up to Mr. Rogowski and Mr. O'Quinn. Do you need time to talk to him, Mr. Rogowski?
I have not informed him about the potential consequences of that plea. I will ask, however, that if that is an offer, that be held open, so that way we may be able to put it on an SAP calendar where he could be.
It's an offer to the end of the day, Mr. Rogowski. Thank you.
All right. Let me reach out to my supervisor and I can see what we might be able to do in regards to that.
Okay. So we'll come back to Mr. O'Quinn, and if and he's still being held on that other Superior Court matter. Is that right?
I believe so, Your Honor. I can see from the booking screen here that he does have 4 charges there, none of which have had bond set. However, from what I can see, he's been reset on that Superior Court first appearance now since about the 20th, if I'm not incorrect there. So I don't know what's going on with that, but even as early as the 18th there, first appearance court action reset. So I think that needs to be addressed as well with them.
Okay, so let me just say, if you do want to take a plea in this matter and you want some more time to talk with him, I am doing the SEA calendar tomorrow as well. Mr. Rhodes, would you give him enough time to speak with him and possibly take a plea on this tomorrow if he needs some more time
Yes.
to properly advise his client?
Absolutely, yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I will
Okay, so
reach
why
out
don't
to
we-
the attorneys that I need to make sure that gets done.
Okay, I want to go ahead though and set a bond for him today, and place him back on the calendar for tomorrow in anticipation of a possible plea. So for today, it'll be $1,000 good bond. No further contact with Leslie Daniels. Stay away from the Peachtree Street address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Bridgewater will place him back on the SCA calendar for tomorrow to give Mr. Rogalski enough time to speak with him about the possibility of a plea. Did you get that?
I did.
Okay, very good. All right, Mr. O'Quinn, we'll possibly see you tomorrow, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Mr. Rhodes, I know that you're not normally with us, and Mr. Rogalski, you're not normally with us. So if you'll make sure to inform who's ever here tomorrow about our agreement this afternoon, I'd appreciate that.
Absolutely, Your Honor. I will notify the appropriate people today.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Who do we have next?
I just have a quick question about position number 11, Mr. Raines. I see on the calendar it has certain acts and bus station prohibited, and also the simple battery against police officer is on the calendar. But I received the email saying those charges were dismissed or NOD. So I'm just trying to figure out which one is.
I believe when I filed them down, when I filed those charges down, I proceeded on counts 1 and 3. I felt like some of the charges were duplicitous of one another. So as it relates to his particular case, I only proceeded on counts 1 and 3, and I dismissed counts 2 and 4. So on the file down, you should see not on docket for counts 2 and 4. Are you not able to see that?
No, I can see it in Odyssey, yes, but I see it on the calendar. It shouldn't even be on the calendar at all.
I see.
See what, now you understand what I'm saying, Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, I understand.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for clarifying. Should I have, is there something I should have done different in the file down? Or,
I'm not sure how that goes. But this is Mr. Rogalski's client. What do you want to do?
I apologize. What was the question there?
I can send NODs. What I can do is I can send over separate NODs for counts 2 and 4. But what I did was I filed down Mr. Rogalski. There were 4 charges, and I felt like they were just cumulative. And so I NOD counts 2 and 4, and I was only proceeding on counts 1 and 3. But they're showing as all 4 on the calendar. So I'm not proceeding on 2 and 4. What I can do is send a NOD document to the court staff as it relates to positions 2 and 4, if that would help. But when I filed them down, I filed them down as NODs, counts 2 and 4.
Okay, yes, that would absolutely be helpful if you could send the NODs for counts 2 and 4 there.
All right, I'll do that by end of calendar, Judge Morrow.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And this is Mr. Raines before me, is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor. My bad.
No,
Let me Mr. Raines.
Okay, you're fine. Good afternoon, Mr. Raines. Let's see, you've been charged in case 25 CR 000-327 J with criminal trespass and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was November 2nd, 2024, out of DeKalb for battery. They have a total of 9 arrest cycles, with arrests out of Georgia, Mississippi, and South Carolina. There was a misdemeanor conviction in 2019 for carrying a weapon without a license and pointing or aiming a gun or pistol at others. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, Your Honor. Very briefly, on January 18th, 2025, at the Oakland City MARTA station, Mr. Raines was observed on the concourse charging his phone. When he was asked if he needed assistance by law enforcement, he immediately became loud, boisterous, tumultuous, and aggressive without cause. Due to the aggressive behavior, he was issued a criminal trespass warning on the scene and advised to leave the property. He failed to follow those verbal commands to leave, and when officers attempted to arrest Mr. Raines, he failed to place his hands behind his back. When instructed by officers, he pulled away, twisting and turning his body to evade arrest. As a result, there caused a delay in the train train number 303, cart 689 for minutes before that train was able to move. And due to the obstruction, Corporal Sparks suffered a laceration to his left index finger. And so, therefore, he was charged with 4 charges. And as indicated before, I did an NOD as it relates to 2 charges and only proceeded on 2 of the charges that I thought were more relevant. In addition, he was advised not to board the train, and before he was arrested, he failed to comply with that particular order. He is in our system flagged as a repeat offender. You did hear his history. As such, we're asking for a $3,000 good bond and that he stay away at this time from all MARTA. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Rogowski?
Yes, Your Honor. Come before you is Mr. Rains. He's 28 years of age. I apologize. He does have a good address at 2496 Linda Lane Southeast, and that's in Atlanta, Georgia. His whole family lives here. He has 2 children. In fact, he just has a newborn as well. So he is taking care of a 3-month-old, as well as his other child is 2 years old and does require a great deal of care due to his autism. Your Honor, he is not a flight risk. He works for a moving company, has had that same stable employment as well for the past 8 years or so. And so he is most certainly not going to try and give up that job. He is very stable there. He does have his degree as well. He went to Grambling and then Rush College. He originally studied graphic design, but then ended up getting his degree in mass communications. Your Honor, we would be asking in this case, the client had also relayed to me that during this event he had gotten pepper sprayed, so I know that's hurting him here too. We would be asking in this case for Mr. Rains to be receiving a UJR today, so that way he can go back and start taking care of his family again. And we would be asking for this bond to be reduced down to a UJR. Thank you.
Okay, for the criminal trespass, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the obstruction, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Abide by any active MARTA suspensions, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Mr. Rains.
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll go to the second room. Sorry. Your Honor, we could be put in a breakout room. with,
Okay.
Spanish interpret. Well, I guess we could do ACDC first.
Okay. Mr. Rogowski, do you have any clients at ACDC?
I do, Your Honor. I actually have 2 clients that are currently at ACDC, Miss Kennard, and I also had Miss Jones, but I believe that Miss Jones's case also had an NOD.
Correct.
So
Okay, so why don't I do this? Why don't I take Mr. Rogowski's case that's at ACDC and go ahead and put Ms. Rosenhoover in courtroom 2 and the interpreter into a breakout room. Would that work, Norris?
That sounds good to me, Your Honor.
All right, very good. So if we can place courtroom 2, Ms. Rosenhoover and Ms. Chancey, you still with me?
By the book solidifies
Yes,
your
sir.
place among the literary intelligentsia.
Thank you.
You're going to be in By the Book
Okay,
in the
Jen.
Times? No, Liza.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Chancey. Let me go
Good
ahead
afternoon.
and swear you in while I've got you there. Do you swear affirm that you will interpret from Spanish to English and English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. So we can go ahead and place every courtroom 2, Ms. Chancey and Ms. Rosenhoover into a breakout room, and Milton will take Mr. Rogowski's client there at ACDC. And who do I have?
That is position number 7, Miss Kennard.
Okay. And to both the young ladies there, good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're giving you the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Ms. Kennard, you've been charged in case 25 CR 0000322C with criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was November the 8th, 2021, out of Fulton County for aggravated stalking. They have a total of 2 arrest cycles in Georgia. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Rhodes? You're on mute, Mr. Rhodes.
Yes, Your Honor, as it relates to Ms. Kennard, on January 10th, 2025 at 4:02 p.m., members of the East Point Police Department responded to 3420 Haggard Court in East Point, Georgia, in reference to a domestic dispute. Officers met with Mr. Michael Brown, who stated that he had a disagreement with his child's mother, Ms. Pearlia Kennard, about smoking weed inside the home with their child. Brown stated that when he told Kennard that she could not smoke inside of his home, she became upset and started to become verbally aggressive towards him. He then began to pick the child up and go to a bedroom. And when he walked into the bedroom, he closed the door. Miss Kennard became angry. She forced entry into the bedroom door by kicking the door, which caused damage to the door frame and to the door frame and the actual door itself. The two parties share a minor child. I believe the child's name is first initial M. Brown, and they previously resided together at the current location, the location of this particular incident. And then on January 15th of 2024, Ms. Kennard called Mr. Brown and basically left a voicemail asking whether or not he called the police. In that same voicemail, she told Mr. Brown that she would pay for the damaged door. As it relates to her criminal history, you heard that there was 2 arrests. This would make the 3rd arrest. The previous arrest in 2021 was for aggravated stalking and involved the same victim in this case, for which she also damaged property then. So the 2021 act stalking involved the damage of property as well. And the arrest prior to that was in 2017, which was a battery family violence arrest, Your Honor. As it relates to Ms. Kenyard, we're asking for a straight bond, given her penchant for damaging property. We're asking for a straight bond in the amount of $5,000, and that we have had contact with Mr. Brown. He is at work at this particular time, and he said that he could not make it because he is at work. He is the primary caregiver for the child. They do have a parenting plan in place. We're asking that Your Honor do not disturb that parenting plan, and that there be no further contact with Mr. Brown, and that she stay away from the incident location, which I believe was 3420 Haggard Court in East Point, and that whatever terms and conditions of the parenting plan remain in place. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so just so the Haggard Court address, she does not live at that address with Mr. Brown. Is that right?
She does not.
Okay, all right. Yes, Mr. Rogowski.
Yes, Your Honor. Come before you is Ms. Kennard. She's 25 years of age. She does have a good address at 2900 Landrum Drive, Southwest, and that's going to be apartment number 48 and in Atlanta, Georgia, Your Honor. She does have family in the area, and she also does have one child that just turned 5 years of age. She's been residing for the past 9 years in the Atlanta area as well. She does have good employment. She works at the bar at Hard Rock Cafe, waitressing and bartending, and has been doing that for the past 2 months as well, Judge. At the moment, she also does hold a degree, and she is close to finishing a degree. She's 1 year away from a online business administration major with finance and accounting. And we understand that there are 2 previous cycles here. We are asking in this case for a bond not to exceed $1,000 if Your Honor is not inclined to grant a UJR on this case. And we would be asking as well that no matter what, she is able to receive third-party transfer for these children, or third-party contact for the transfer of her child, so that way she's still able to see her son. And I think that would be good as well. I know that Mr. Rhodes had mentioned that the parenting plan and everything, I think that would be very useful towards keeping that parenting plan going and maintaining her allowance to be able to see her son. So that is our request at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Michael Brown. Stay away from his residential address. She's to abide by the terms of any parenting plan that is presently in place. If the plan does not include third-party transfer, there is to be third-party transfer of the minor child or children for visitation, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Okay, good luck to you, ma'am. Okay, and the other young lady there, that's Miss Rosenhoover's client, is that right, Miss Milton, Officer Milton?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll have to be in recess until courtroom 2 comes back online with us. Okay, so the court stands in recess until courtroom 2 comes back.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, but before we start, what was the bond amount? Who did we do while we were in breakout?
Let's see, while we were in the breakout, we did position number 7. That was a $2,000, Miss Kennard, a $2,000 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And tell me again who we have. Do we want to continue with the interpreter case in courtroom 2? Is that right?
Yes, that's gonna be position number 3.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Cruz. You have been charged in case 25 CR 000-319J with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree.
Señor Cruz, buenas tardes. Usted está siendo acusado en el caso 25CR000319J con golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar y crueldad ante un menor.
Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
¿Hay antecedentes, señora Hardy?
The last arrest was September 7th, 2023 out of Fulton County for simple battery.
El último arresto fue el 9 de julio del 2023 en el condado de Fulton por golpes y lesiones simples.
The case number is 23 CR 005407J.
Y el número de caso es 23CR005407J.
There's a total of 7 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia and Louisiana.
Hay un total de 7 arrestos procesados en el estado de Georgia y Luisiana.
Nothing further to report.
No hay más información.
Ms. McConkey?
Yes, Your
Yeah.
Honor. I'm not sure if pretrial mentioned it, but he does have I do see a 2019 aggravated assault arrest out of Louisiana and a 2020 simple battery arrest out of Louisiana as well.
Sí, su señoría, no estoy segura si la Oficina de Servicios Previos al Juicio mencionó que él tiene un arresto en 2019 por agresión con agravantes en Luisiana y en el 2020 por golpes y lesiones simples. También fue un arresto en Luisiana.
This incident occurred at 1505 Chattahoochee Avenue Northwest in Atlanta.
Este incidente ocurrió en el 1505 Chattahoochee Avenue Northwest en Atlanta.
The victim in this case is Desi Gomez Machado, who lives with the defendant and also shares an 18-month-old child with the defendant.
La víctima en este caso es Desi Gómez Machado, quien vive con el acusado y también viven con el bebé de 18 meses que es hijo del acusado también.
The defendant is accused of punching the victim in the face, causing a bruise to the left side of her face.
El acusado está acusado por dar un puñetazo a la víctima en la cara, causando un moretón en el lado izquierdo de la cara.
The assault occurred in front of a minor child with the initials RC. She is 12 years old.
Esta agresión ocurrió en frente de la menor, cuyas iniciales son RC y tiene 12 años.
The defendant does have an open battery family violence case. That is the case Ms. Hardy mentioned. It is against the same victim.
El acusado también tiene un caso pendiente por golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar. Ese es el caso que la señora Hardy mencionó y ocurrió en contra de la misma víctima.
In that case, he caused a bruise to Ms. Machado's arm. He was ordered to have no further contact and stay away from the incident location.
En ese caso, él le causó un moretón en el brazo de la señora Machado. Se le ordenó a él no tener más contacto y a mantenerse distanciado del lugar donde ocurrió el incidente.
The incident location is the same location that this incident occurred at, so he is in violation of that bond. It was a $3,000 good bond.
El lugar del incidente es el mismo que este incidente que ocurrió. Entonces, él está en incumplimiento de esa fianza que era de $3,000.
Our office has spoken with Ms. Machado, who states that she wants to have no contact with the defendant and he wants her to stay away from the incident location.
El personal de nuestra oficina ha hablado con la señora Machado, quien declaró que no quiere tener ningún contacto con el acusado y que quiere que se mantenga alejado del lugar del incidente.
The defendant has 2 children that are not children he shares with the victim. Those children are still living in the home with the victim.
El acusado tiene 2 hijos que no son de la víctima. Esos hijos todavía están viviendo en el hogar con la víctima.
The defendant's brother has called the victim and asked her to keep the defendant's children until the end of the year, and she is concerned that the defendant will use this as an excuse to contact her and come back to the home.
El hermano del acusado ha llamado a la víctima para pedir que permanezcan los niños del acusado hasta el fin del año, pero ella tiene inquietudes acerca de que el acusado usará esto como una excusa para contactarla a ella y regresar a la residencia.
The victim also states that her 16-year-old and her 6-year-old, who she does not share with the defendant, have been receiving text messages and phone calls.
La víctima también declaró que su hijo, un momento por favor, que sus hijos de 16 años y que también no son hijos, que no es hijo de el acusado, ha estado recibiendo mensajes escritos y llamadas por teléfono.
She is afraid that the defendant will retaliate against her once he gets out, and she says that the defendant has threatened to harm her family in the past.
Ella teme que el acusado se quiera vengar en contra de ella y cuando salga y dice que el acusado ha amenazado hacerle daño a su familia en el pasado.
Given that this defendant is in violation of a previous bond order that required him to have no contact with this victim, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 cash bond or a very high surety bond.
Dado a que este acusado está en incumplimiento de una orden de fianza que le ordenaba no tener contacto con esta víctima, la recomendación de la fiscalía es de una fianza de dinero en efectivo de $3,000 o una fianza bajo garantía muy alta.
No further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, and that he undergo anger awareness or an FVIP.
No tener más contacto con la víctima, mantenerse distanciado del lugar del incidente y tomar un curso de manejo de la ira y también un programa de intervención.
I would ask the court to sound for the victim in this case, Ms. Desi Machado.
Pido a su señoría que se llame a la víctima, en este caso, la señora Desi Machado. Señora Desi Machado, si está presente en la plataforma de Zoom, por favor, prenda su micrófono y háblenos. Y la cámara. Señora Desi Machado.
That's enough. There we go.
Hola.
Hello.
Ms. Chancellor, we have a raise your right hand for me.
Por favor, ¿puede levantar su mano derecha, señora Machado?
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
¿Usted jura o afirma que la declaración que dará ante este tribunal será la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Sí.
I do.
You can place your hand down.
Puede bajar su mano.
Okay.
What would you like to tell the court?
¿Qué quisiera decirle a usted, a este juez?
Pues yo lo que quiero es pues orden de alejamiento definitivo, no quiero que me escriban, no quiero que se acerque a mi trabajo, a la casa por los momentos, porque yo me voy a salir de ahí.
Well, actually, I would like I would like for him to obtain a definite stay away order because I don't want him to write to me, to come closer, to call me at work or come to the house because I will eventually leave that place.
Anything further, ma'am?
¿Algo más, señora?
Y pues que se aleje de que esté lejos de mis hijos, no lo quiero cerca de mis hijos, porque al final él sale y al final siempre no le importan las leyes. Al final la primera vez lo hizo, cuando yo ya lo hallé en la casa. Pensé que él iba a cambiar, pero al final pues él recibido golpes, amenazas de que me va a matar o después se va a matar él, cosas así.
Well, actually, I don't want him near my children because he actually he doesn't care about the laws. He comes out and then he showed up at the house. I thought he was gonna change, but I have received blows and threats, and he said that he's gonna kill me, that he's gonna kill himself.
Yes, ma'am. Anything else?
¿Algo más, señora?
Pues yo de verdad temo por mi vida porque he sufrido de verdad, tengo pruebas de las amenazas, de los mensajes que él siempre me ha dicho, te voy a matar o te voy a hacer algo donde más te va a doler y pues cuando me dice eso, yo lo que digo, uno de madre lo que más le duele son los hijos.
Well, actually, I fear for my life. I have proof that he has threatened me before and said, I'm gonna kill you. And so actually what I fear is, or one fears for the children mainly.
Thank you for being here this afternoon, ma'am.
Gracias por estar aquí, señora. Okay.
Ms. Rosenhoover?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Cruz is 34 years old. He only made it to about the first grade. He's resided in Georgia the past 3 years. He advised that he previously had a job at a rental company handling chairs and tables and things, but he did suffer from an accident for which he filed a civil claim and is still working with attorneys to get that resolved, so he's not working currently. I did advise him that he would need to find somewhere else to stay. He told me he had friends in the area, then he will update his address with the clerk's office if he's released. Judge, we would just ask the court to grant a reasonable bond. Thank you.
Gracias, su señoría. El señor Cruz tiene 34 años de edad. Él solamente terminó el primer grado de la primaria. Él es un residente de Georgia, ha sido durante los últimos 3 años. Él ha declarado que previamente tenía un trabajo con una compañía de alquiler manejando sillas y mesas y cosas, pero él sufrió un accidente del cual hubo una demanda civil y todavía está trabajando con los abogados para hasta que se resuelva. Entonces no tiene trabajo en la actualidad. Sí le recomendé que él necesitaba encontrar a alguien para poder ir a quedarse. Él me dijo que tiene amigos en el área, entonces él va a actualizar su nueva dirección en la oficina de el tribunal. Yo solicitamos que este, como no está trabajando, que la fianza no sea muy alta.
Okay, for the battery family violence, it'll be a $2,000 cash bond. For the cruelty to children in the third, it'll be a $1,000 cash bond. Makes for a total of a $3,000 cash bond.
Muy bien, por el golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar, será una fianza en efectivo de $2,000. Por crueldad antihumanar, en el tercer grado será de $1,000 en efectivo, lo que hace un total de una fianza en efectivo de $3,000.
No further contact with Ms. Marchero and stay away from the Chattahoochee address.
No tener contacto alguno con la señora Machado y permanecer distanciado de la residencia en el Chattahoochee.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
No tener perdón, no se queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
Mr. Cruz, you can have no contact whatsoever with Ms. Marchero or her children. Otherwise, you will be in violation of this bond order.
Señor Cruz, usted no puede tener contacto alguno con la señora Machado o con sus hijos. De otra manera, usted estará en incumplimiento de esta orden de fianza.
The state all-purpose calendar for these cases today will be February 4th.
Entonces, la lista de causas de todo tipo para este caso va a ser el 4 de febrero.
Ms. Bridgewater, did you get the case number for the other state court case that is pending?
No,
El
sir,
señor,
I need to get that.
Okay, it's my understanding that that case number is 23CR005407J. Is that correct, Ms. McCockey?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, I have it.
Okay, I'd like both these cases to be placed on that SAP calendar on February 4th.
Okay,
el otro caso también será colocado para la audiencia del 4 de febrero.
And Ms. McCockey, if you will also have your victim advocate get in touch with the alleged victim in this case and let her know if she wants to be present, that will be going forward at that time.
Absolutely, will do.
Señor Macaki, si usted también quiere que la defensora de víctima se contacte con la víctima alegada en este caso y que le permita saber, en caso de que ella quiera estar presente, de que este caso continuará en ese día.
Good luck to you, Mr. Cruz. You as well, Ms. Machado.
Buena suerte, señor Cruz.
Okay. Ms. Chancey, thank you so much for being here this afternoon. We appreciate your
Sure.
service.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
Do the same. We'll see you
Thank
next time.
you.
Thank you. Okay, who do we want next? ACDC?
Position number 1, Ms. Chapel.
Good afternoon, Ms. Chappell. You've been charged in case 25CR000326C with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was August 18th, 2021 out of DeKalb for battery family violence. They have a total of 2 arrest cycles, misdemeanor conviction in 2022 for battery family violence and criminal trespass. Nothing further to report.
Yes, Ms. McConkey.
Yes, Your Honor. The victim in this case is Idasha, I''DAASHA Huff. She used to live with and also be in a relationship with the defendant. The parties were having a verbal dispute that turned physical when the defendant struck the victim multiple times in the face, causing a laceration and bruising to her forehead, at which point the victim did retaliate and strike the defendant back in self-defense. Our office has had a chance to speak with Ms. Huff. She did confirm the events and stated that the defendant did strike her multiple times and caused that laceration and bruising. She stated that her and the defendant don't live together anymore, but she does want no further contact and a stay away as they have had a deep domestic violence history in the past. She said that her and the defendant separated about a year ago and they recently began speaking to each other again. This should technically be a felony as the defendant does have a previous battery family violence conviction. We have reached out to the DA to request a transfer and are just waiting to hear back from them. Therefore, the state's recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the victim's residence, wherever that may be. The incident locations in the warrant are a Kroger and a Home Depot. That the defendant undergo some anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would just ask the court to sound for Miss Idasha Huff.
If Ms. Huff is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity.
Hi.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Huff. If
Good afternoon.
you raise your right hand for me, please. The other hand.
Oh shit, I'm sorry, my bad.
You're fine. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
Only thing I would like to tell the court is I don't want her around me no more. That's it. I don't want her around me, no contact, no nothing.
Okay, and we'll make sure to order that.
Thank you. And sorry, Your Honor, but I do have things in the back of her U-Haul that I would like. So I want to know how to get them things.
Okay. And it's her U-Haul that they're in the back of?
Yes.
All right. I don't know how we can make arrangements. I could order her to have a one-time escort, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna have you get in touch with her, given that there's not gonna be any contact. So Ms. McConkey.
Sorry to interrupt, Your Honor. It looks like the U-Haul was towed by Southside Towing. So I'm not sure if Ms. Huff could just go to that location to get the items, or if the defendant would need to be there since the U-Haul's in her name.
I'm not sure if a U-Haul place is gonna allow her to get items out of a vehicle that are not hers without some type of order or something of that nature. Let me get back to you, Ms. Huff, regarding that. A question that the 2020 conviction that in DeKalb County, was that someone else? Was that you or was that someone else?
Someone else.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you being here this afternoon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Rosenhoover?
Thank you, Judge. Miss Chappell is 25 years old. She did graduate from high school and she is born and raised here in Georgia. She currently works at two different locations, first for Georgia State University and also with Enterprise at the airport. She did advise that the U-Haul was towed and currently her phone is there. Judge, she's not able to afford a very high bond, and while I understand the state's position and the district attorney transfer at this point, since it is still a misdemeanor, we would ask the court to do a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, perhaps level 2.
Okay. It's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Huff, stay away from Ms. Huff's residential address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. If Ms. Chappell does have any items that belong to Ms. Huff, I'm just going to include in the order that she returns such items to Ms. Huff. Okay. All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Chappell, and you as well, Ms. Huff.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna have position number 12, Mr. Willie Trice.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Trice. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0000328F with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was April the 9th, 2023, out of Atlanta for driving while license suspended or revoked. They have a total of 36 adult arrest cycles, arrests out of Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Missouri. Felony conviction in 2018 for possession of Schedule II controlled substance. A misdemeanor conviction for giving false name, address, birth date, 2013, driving without a license. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes, Your Honor. One moment, please.
Okay.
All right, Your Honor. Thanks for holding.
Okay.
As it relates to Mr. Trice, on September 29, 2024, Officer King responded to the Edgewood Court Apartments, building number 26 at 1572 Hardy Street in Northeast Atlanta. Upon arrival, they spoke with the victim and Mr. Dante Carter, who stated that at approximately 3:15 that his cousin, along with other males, jumped him at the apartment complex. Mr. Carter had significant lacerations and bruises to his head, along with significant swelling to his face, forehead, and jaw. The victim was able to provide a photo of this particular defendant, and the victim in this case has explained. We have been in contact with him. I believe my victim advocate, Ms. Beverly Andrews, who's online, has been in contact with him as recent as today, has explained that he has been receiving medical treatment to this day for this particular incident from 3 different doctors because it did result in some form of brain trauma, Your Honor. Given that the victim does have 36 cycles, I asked for one moment because I did want to look to see if any of them were violent. Many of them are probation violations, and they are violent in nature. It seems that Mr. Trice is a career criminal with over 36 arrests and cycles, and that's just Georgia. His Georgia criminal history alone has over 30 cycles, Your Honor. And in addition to that, you saw that you heard from pretrial that he's a multi-state offender. This particular victim was an elderly gentleman, nearly 60 years old. We're asking for a good bond given the significance of this case. Mr. Carter indicated that he was struck with not just fist, but also with a firearm. We will be petitioning to have this case moved to the felony division, given that Mr. Trice is labeled in our system in Fulton County as a repeat offender. We're asking for a good bond in the amount of $7,500, and that he has no further contact with the victim, Mr. Dante Carter, and that he stay away from 1572 Hardy Street, Northeast Atlanta, Georgia, 30307, which are the Edgewood Court Apartments building. Your Honor, our recommendation is so high, given his criminal history, the number of cycles, the fact that he is labeled as a repeat offender, and the age of this particular victim. Thank you, Your Honor.
Rogowski?
Yes, Your Honor. Come before you as Mr. Trice. He is 34 years of age. His address is 1792 Cora Star Way, and that is in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Your Honor, apartment 1792. Your Honor, he's been living in Georgia for his entire life. His whole family is in Georgia as well. He does have 5 children, 16 years, 14 years, 11 years, 9 years, and 6 years of age. He does have good work. He has been working at Al's Construction for the past 8 or so years as well. So again, very, very strong ties to the community, very, very strong ties to his work as well. So he should be gainfully employed going forward here. Your Honor, he did graduate high school at Henry W. Grady High, and we would be asking in this case, we understand the allegations that are set forth at this time. They are still allegations, and we understand that this case may be transferred. However, he is still entitled to a bond today. Our request for Mr. Trice would be that this bond not be set in excess of 3,000 if your honor is inclined to grant a monetary bond, and that would be 3,000 surety. So that is our request today, and we leave it to discretion of the court. Thank you.
All right, it'll be a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Mr. Carter. Stay away from the Edgewood Courts address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Trice.
Sit, Your Honor.
Okay, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
All right.
Let's see, Ms. Bridgewater,
Yes, sir.
whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be February the 4th.
Did you want to be on camera, Ms. Bridgewater? I mean, it's
You
up to
would
you.
like
But
for me to?
only if you want. I just wanted to let you know that you're normally on camera. You're not, but you don't have to be if you don't want to be.
I'm not feeling it today. How about that? I'll see you tomorrow. How about that?
You're fine.
Okay.
Go
So
ahead.
position number 1 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 3 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 cash bond. Position 4 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 5 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 6 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 7 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 9 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 8 is going to be reset for tomorrow, so that the attorney can speak with his client. In the meantime, it's going to be a $1,000 good bond. Position 10 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 11, reset further notice with a $3,000 total SOB through pretrial. And position 12 is going to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Okay. If not, thank you all. I appreciate it. You all have a good rest of your holiday. We will.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. And thank you to court staff.
Tomorrow.
No,
nothing.
Yes.
I just want to let him know that this will be my last day here in jail courts for a minute. I'm gonna be down there with you. So I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Oh, wow, we'll miss you.
Right, we definitely will miss you.
Yeah, just for a little while.
Okay, all right. Thanks for letting us know.
All right.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thank you all.
Okay, see you all next time.